All right, I haven't been doing many Cub Cadet videos here lately. I've been really busy. I haven't even had time to work on them. But I have picked a few things up. I just picked this up, Cub Cadet model 1100. This is part of a Quiet Line series. I only had one Quiet Line before, model 800, and I ended up selling it because it needed too much work. And the parts were too hard to find for it, and I didn't have the time or want to put the money into it. Now, a friend of mine, a co-worker, had this. He had to buy a lot of 4 tractors to get a John Deere 110 that he wanted, and he didn't want the other ones, so he knew I collected Cub Cadets and he called me, and I ended up buying it. Now, the difference between the 1100 and the 1000 was the 1000 had a single cylinder Kohler in it, and they had the cast iron 3-speed rear end in it, which the 1100 has the Peerless rear end like you'd find in a 482 or a 582 special. And as the 482, it's got the single 11 horsepower Briggs engine in it. So this was the model that came out to replace the 800. When they did the model 800 with having 3-speed gear drive and everything in it, they just really still couldn't compete with a cheaper lineup, so that's why they did this one. Now, there's only really 2 reasons why I bought this tractor. Like I said, this really isn't a true Quiet Line. A lot of guys like the model 1000 because it has the IH rear end in it, and it also has the Kohler engine instead of the Briggs. The Quiet Line series had rubber motor mounts. They were isolated from the frame. They did have some issues with them. There are some upgrades you can do to newer motor mounts with these. This one is fixed directly to the frame. There are no motor mounts, so a lot of times people say that this isn't a true Quiet Line series. Also, the 1100 does not come with side shields on it. It's just bare. It comes with the smaller 23 by 8.5 by 12 tires instead of the 23 by 10.5s. And like I said, it's got the Peerless belt drive to the gear rear end in this one, just like my 482s. Now, I said I bought this tractor for 2 reasons. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. The seat on it's absolutely beautiful. So, really nice seat on this. This tractor, I guess, has been sitting in a barn for 16 years. The guy used it. Supposedly, he bought a 0-turn or a newer mower and just stuck it in the barn with some of the other tractors. Now, these single-cylinder Briggs and Stratton engines are getting harder to find. They only made these for a few models, the 1100 and the 482. And this one does run off starting fluid. He could fire it up. The carb needs some work. Like I said, it's been sitting a while, so it definitely needs gone through. The bad thing with buying tractors like this is that, you know, when I pull the dipstick, the oil doesn't look too old. I mean, it's a little black, but it's low. So it's half full. Either someone didn't fill it all the way, or they kept adding oil to this because it's burning oil. I can't tell that until I get it running. So one of them gambles I'm gonna have to take. I'm not sure what to do with this. I did do a video last year, I believe it was. I bought a yellow and white 482, and I wanted to take the engine out of that and put it in my red 482 because the engine that wasn't the original engine, but I have yet to really see too many yellow and white 482s. Now, even though I don't collect the Cub Cadet, you know, garden tractors, I only collect the IH ones, I'm sort of torn. I was thinking about, since I don't see yellow and white 482s, maybe taking the engine out of this one and putting it in my red 482, and then just keeping some of the parts on the shelf, like the beveled gearbox for these Peerless rear ends, and then just getting rid of the rest of the parts. But I really hate to disassemble a good lawnmower garden tractor like this. Even though the 1100 I don't think is the most sought after model, and I don't think it's going to be worth, you know, a ton of money, it's still an IH built tractor, and I really do hate to disassemble it and use it for parts for another one. So I'm going to have to think about this for a few months and think of what I would do. What are your guys' comments? Any collectors out there? Would you disassemble this one or try to find another engine for the 482 and just keep this one intact? Like I said, I do want a Quiet Line series for my collection someday. I was really wanting a 1450 or a 1650, something hydrostat with a larger single cylinder. One advantage of the 1100, like I said, is it being fixed to the frame. Without them rubber mounts, it's less things to go wrong. So in that aspect, this may be a good quiet line to have, not sure. It did come with a pretty nice International 44A mower deck. Underneath this deck is actually in really, really nice shape. It's not rotted out or anything. Everything seemed to turn free when I messed with it. The spindles all look really, really good shape. So there is a salvageable mower deck that I got with it that I could always sell to try to recuperate some of my money as well. I'm not going to use it. There's the 1100. Like I said, what are your guys' thoughts? What would you do with this tractor? Tear it apart or just keep it as it is? I'm on the fence. I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't looking for 1100. I just sort of stumbled across this. I'm going to try to keep doing these videos. Try as I work on these. I've been really busy this summer with going on vacation and camping. I really haven't had time and trying to keep up on mowing, but I'll be sure to keep the videos coming for you guys. Thanks for watching.